Let's bring in former White House press secretary Kayleigh McEnany and Outkick.com founder Clay Travis. So just moments ago, the former president walked in, sat next to Jason Aldean and his beautiful wife. You can feel this momentum building. This is bringing in the closer tonight.
Bringing in the closer. I was listening to another network, and they questioned his ability to speak in terms of unity. And I thought to myself, you don't know President Trump. This is a man who knows how to meet the moment. I watched the George Floyd footage with him. He talked about wanting to heal the nation, and he gave out a beautiful speech at NASA. I was with him in the lead up to the last RNC. The speech was under lock and key. I had to go down to Stephen Miller's office and read it on paper. They weren't even sending it out. Donald Trump unified the nation in that speech as hundreds of thousands of Americans had died of COVID-19. Tonight, I know he's going to meet the moment, and here's why. Kellyanne Jones, a senior producer here at Fox, has found out that just before he speaks, they will place gear from Corey Compertori, who passed away. His fire gear, his helmet, sent by his family. President Trump understands this moment. He's going to meet it, and I predict this. This will expedite the exit of Joe Biden after tonight. Democrats will be at a fever pitch. They will have seen one of the greatest moments in presidential history. That's my prediction.
Well, that's a great prediction and one of the best conventions I can ever remember. Absolutely. Clay Travis, the theme is strength.
Yes.
And it's also about fight, fight, fight. You have the UFC guys, you have Kid Rock, you have Hulkamania here in the building. How does he square the fight, fight, fight strength with also an appeal to unity?
I think that's a great question. First, my wife told me to tell you, make sure that Jesse doesn't miss any of what Hulk Hogan says, even if that means my own husband, meaning me, doesn't get to be on air. So she's excited about this. Look, I think Kayleigh hit it. We don't need to appeal to the people who already love Trump. We're ready to crawl over broken glass if necessary and vote for him, even more so after Saturday. He doesn't need to preach to the MAGA choir. He needs to convert people who believe that he can fix what's broken in this country. That's what I think he's going to do tonight. That's what I think the opportunity is. That's what J.D. Vance represented yesterday and what I thought was such a fabulous speech. He's going after the Big Ten states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. You know who's super popular there? Hulk Hogan, Dana White. Kayleigh talked about how he can rise to the moment. I've been to a lot of big sporting events. This has the feel of a big game right before a kickoff, an arena right before a Game 7. There's an electricity in the building, and I think Trump is going to meet that, and I think it's going to propel Joe Biden out of this race and Trump into at least the biggest win. Everybody needs to go vote. Don't blame me. Go vote yourselves. That we've seen since 2008. A shattering of the Democrat identity politics coalition is coming, and this guy's going to do it.
And J.D., as you said, his speech, very, very eloquent last night, his personal story. What does he call his grandmother? Is it?
Mama?
Meemaw. Meemaw.
Meemaw. And as a protector of him, as a fighter, she was a vicious fighter, and she did it because of love. So that's probably how you'd square the fight and the strength, because as a president, as a family man or a woman, you fight and you protect the people who you love. And that's probably going to be the thrust, I think, the president takes from J.D. into Thursday.
I think that's exactly right. And look, he's not going to mention Joe Biden, but he referred to Joe Biden by another name in his 2020 RNC speech, the destroyer of the American dream. Will he vaguely reference him? He had a great line back in 2020, and he said, "We are the party of Abraham Lincoln, and we welcome you, Democrats and independents, and all those who believe in the greatness of this country." That is the tone you will hear. He's going to knock it out of the park.
All right. Can't wait. Just in a few minutes, we'll see it.
I can't wait either.
I can feel it. All right, Clay, thank you very much. Kayleigh, thanks as well. Fox News Alert. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.